Hey guys! It's been kind of a minute since I have done an actual sit down, hangout, advice kind of chat video. But this was a topic that had been really highly requested since I did my college experience video. I believe I'll link it somewhere so you guys can watch it if you want. But I basically just talked about everything that I had to say about college pretty much. I put it up during the back to school time. So yeah, I got a lot of questions specifically about the community college aspect of my college career. Kind of just glazed over the most asked questions that I saw. If you guys have questions about college or community college or my major or anything like that, I would love to do a college Q&A video. So leave your questions down below and I will definitely answer them in a future video. So I'm just gonna say this from the start, I'm not an expert, I'm not the most qualified person to be speaking about this. I'm just speaking about things that I've learned from my experience. So if you didn't watch my college experience video, the long and the short of it is I took some time off between high school and college, and then I was accepted into a university, but I decided to go to community college instead. So I went there for I think a year and a half or 2 years. I can't really remember. I think it was a year and a half including every summer. So yeah, so I went there and then now I'm at university finishing up. I'm a junior now and I'll be done hopefully by this time next year. And I'm studying film, video, and media studies. So my decision to go to community college versus university was not really based on anything, to be completely honest. I don't know why I decided that. I am actually very fortunate. I got a full ride scholarship to college. I'm part of a kind of test program. If you know anything about Michigan, you probably know where I went to high school, but yeah, everyone in my high school got free college, so that was awesome. It wasn't really based on the financial thing, although, for a lot of people, I think that's definitely something to consider. I think if you're, if you don't have a scholarship, maybe you didn't get the grades in high school, community college would be an excellent option for you to kind of raise your GPA and then apply for scholarships at community college and then maybe get a scholarship to university. So that's definitely something to consider. But for me, that wasn't really part of it. I think for me, it was just kind of knowing where I was at emotionally and mentally, and not to say that in a bad way, but I was always very smart in school, not to toot my own horn, but I mean, I've always just been naturally pretty academically talented, but I just have never had the drive. I just honestly had never had the drive. So I knew that college was going to be a struggle for me. I didn't really want to go to college. I would much rather just start working and making money. But I knew that I kind of had to. I mean, I had free tuition. How could I not go to college? So, and then also part of it, I think, was I had no idea what I wanted to go to school for. I took my first film class in high school. I think it was maybe my junior or senior year of high school, and I loved it, but I never really saw it as a feasible way to make money in the future. I just saw it as art, and I come from a family of artists, and my family ain't rolling in the dough, so I kind of didn't want to be a part of that. I kind of wanted to really separate myself from that community and do something academic or do something in business and just make money. So I didn't want to do film. So yeah, so I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I was well, maybe community college will help me kind of figure that out and all that. Community college did help me figure that out, and I figured out that I wanted to be an artist and make movies. Go figure. So I didn't really choose my major. I think that my major kind of chose me, and I think that's how it happens for a lot of people. I went into college really stressed out, what am I going to do with my life? And, yeah, I think it just kind of chose me. I took one public speaking class, which was a mandatory class, and I really, really liked the instructor. And I was I want to take more of his classes just for electives and, for random things that I need. And I ended up just taking his classes, taking more of his classes, and he was a comm instructor. And, eventually I fell into the comm major. And at my university, the film program is actually in the School of Communications. So it just kind of worked out, and I was okay, whatever, I guess I'm gonna go to school for film. Still don't know if I'm gonna make any money off of it, but I'm doing what I love, and I think that's what's important. One of the big questions that I got about community college is, just about the social life in general. And I am a firm believer that you shouldn't base your college choices on the social life, because honestly, I can tell you as somebody who works nearly full-time. When I was in community college, I was working full-time. Now I'm working part-time, but it's still like 30 hours a week. And I do YouTube and a blog, which also is kind of like a part-time job for me. You know, I don't really have much time for a social life, so I don't really recommend, like, you know, basing your decisions off of a social life, because it's kind of irrelevant to me. And if you're really doing your job, which is to go to school, you're not going to have much time for a social life. I know that that sounds really sad, but it's just true. I met a lot of people that I really enjoyed their company, and I met a few people in my major who are actually at my university now, which is nice because we're kind of going through like the transition and the transfer process together. So, you know, I definitely wouldn't like think that you're not going to make any friends or anything like that, but no, there's not Greek life at community college, I don't think. You know, there's not like huge parties, like there's not that kind of stuff, but there is, you know, there are organizations and clubs that you can get involved in. I didn't personally because I just didn't have the time. Like I said, I worked full time, but if you have a little bit more free time, if you're still living with your parents and don't have to work as much, you know, definitely explore those options. They're there. They were there at least in my college, so. Definitely the makeup of the students is a little bit different than university. There are quite a few like older people, like people who are like my mom's age and older, lots of moms and dads, and, you know, people like me who were working full time and couldn't afford to, you know, not work full time. So it's definitely interesting. I kind of liked that environment better. I felt like the people who were there like actually wanted to be there. Now that I'm at university, I'm feeling like there's a lot of like 18-year-old kids who were pushed by their parents to go, and their parents are writing the checks, and they're kind of just like, you know, I guess I'm here, you know what I mean? So I definitely kind of actually liked the community college aspect better, and I also really liked going to school with people who are a little bit more mature, people who are older, you know, in their 30s, 40s, 50s. I thought it was really interesting, and I always felt like they were really engaged, because I think it takes a lot of guts to go back to school at that age. So I feel like they're the ones who are like the most serious about their education and always ask the most insightful questions, and, you know, they're just really nice. You can learn from older people. You can learn a lot from older people, so I always really liked that. So the whole transfer process really wasn't too hard for me, just because my community college and the university that I'm at are in the same town, which is my hometown, which is the town that I grew up in. So, I mean, it wasn't really like too crazy. I knew what both sides of it were like. I had friends that went to both. You know, I actually had went to the university while I was in high school. I took a class there before, so it wasn't really two like separate worlds for me. If you are, you know, going away to a university, I can see how that would be a little bit more stressful or a little bit more confusing. But yeah, for me, it wasn't really very hard. So there was pretty good communication in between the two institutions. So everything was really like streamlined for me. So I could literally go on to my community college account and just say, I want to major in this at the university. And then they would tell me which classes to take at community college, which would transfer, all that stuff. You want to make sure that you're taking classes that are going to transfer, because even with that tool that I had, I still have like 5 or 6 classes from community college that for some reason didn't transfer. You want to make sure that you're talking to an advisor, which I never did. I definitely recommend that you do, but yeah, I never talked to an advisor. Do that. Talk to advisors from both schools. I really recommend, because like I never talked to my university either. I just kind of like randomly applied one day. It was like really weird. So yeah, just be in constant communication with those people, because they're going to be able to tell you exactly what to take, and you can even get started on your minor. I kind of fell into my political science minor as well, because I really liked my comm classes, and then I really like political science classes. I've always been a political junkie. So I just kept taking government classes for like electives just so I could graduate. And when I got to my university, I realized I was only like 3 classes short of it being a minor. So I'm like, let's just go for that. Not really what I wanted to minor in, but I'm so close to it, so why not? And I thought it would be beneficial if I ever got a job working in the news or anything like that. I feel like political science would be like helpful, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, that's really like the biggest thing, is just making sure that you're taking classes that are transferable. I definitely would say that if you're going to community college or if you're going to university from community college, your grades in community college are super important. I didn't realize this, and I didn't really pay attention to this, but really try to do a good job, because they don't look at your high school grades anymore. Well, I think they do, but I think that they're looking at both. Like when I did my application for university, they asked for my community college transcript and my high school transcript. They didn't ask for SAT scores or anything like that. So that is one thing that I wanted to mention too. If you didn't do very well on your like ACT, SAT, whatever they ask you to take these days, I don't even know. If you didn't do very good on those, which I did mediocre, I did like average, I would say. Community college might be a good option for you because it gives you time to build up your GPA, build up, you know, your extracurriculars, all that kind of stuff. And then they're not going to ask for your high school scores. At least my school didn't. You might want to check into that. Some schools, I'm sure like freaking Harvard probably will because they like to be like that. I'm going to a state university and they didn't ask for any of that. They just asked for my transcript. So that's something to think about for sure if you don't want to retake your ACTs. But yeah, so I definitely would just say mind your grades in community college because they are going to look at them and decide if you're admitted or not. As for adjusting to university life, it's really not that hard. Like I said, I had already taken a class or two there before in high school. I've had friends that go there or whatever. But it is definitely different, like if you're not used to that environment. And still it is something that I'm constantly getting used to again. Community college is very much like a nurturing environment. I almost feel like it's like just a bigger version of high school. All of my classes were in one building, so I could just walk throughout the building. University, obviously you're trekking around campus. Some campuses are so big that you have to like take buses to your classes and everything, which is crazy. Parking is crazy. Finding your classes is crazy. So definitely recommend going like a week before classes start and just wandering the campus, figuring out where your classes are, figuring out where you're going to catch the bus if you need to, where you're going to park, all that stuff so you don't look like an idiot on your first day of classes because nobody likes to be embarrassed, let's just be honest. And yeah, the overall structure of the classes is definitely very different. In community college, I think my biggest lecture or biggest like class was like 60 or 70 people, which is still pretty big. Last semester at university, I had a lecture with I think 200 kids, 2 to 250. It was like pretty large. So, you know, it's definitely a different environment. You don't have as much interaction with your instructor, which is one thing that I really, really dislike. Until you get into your major classes, your classes start getting smaller once you get further into your major. So like my film classes have like 30 kids in them. But like my big comm lectures will have like 100 to 200. So you definitely kind of miss out on that personal time with the instructor, which is something that I really valued. So just keep that in mind and kind of prepare for that. You can go to your instructor's office hours and kind of talk to them one-on-one. I never really do that just because I'm painfully shy. I know nobody really probably believes that, but I am extremely shy and I don't know, I have a hard time with like that one-on-one interaction. So I never really do that unless I have like an urgent need or question or something like that. But definitely utilize, you know, their office phone, their emails, their office hours, all that stuff. Like if you're ever confused, if you ever feel like you just need a little bit more attention, just drop by and say hello. Their professors love it when you do that. Like they love it. So I really recommend doing that. I don't really feel like university classes in general are harder. And obviously this is different. Like if you're going to community college for nursing and I'm going to university for film, like obviously nursing is probably harder at community college than my film classes are. But in general, I don't really feel like university classes are harder. I just feel like they expect a lot more self-reliance, so there's no emails saying, remember to read this chapter, remember we have a quiz, like it's all on you. And also, I think that there's a lot more material scrunched into a lot less time, and there's a lot less instructor per student. So I think those factors make it harder, but the material itself, like, I mean, isn't too hard. I guess I have had a few classes that I'm kind of like, you really expect me to read like 3 chapters in a night? But that's been kind of few and far between, and those have been like my political science classes, which are a little bit more academic. So yeah, one last tip or point of advice I'd like to say is try to make sure to take all of your prereqs before you get to university. And this is because in general, again, I'm generalizing, I'm not trying to make anybody feel inferior or anything like that, but in general, your science, your math, that stuff is going to be easier at community college. So if you're somebody who is afraid of that stuff like I am, take it at community college, because the university level is going to be a little bit more challenging, and again, you're going to get a lot less instructor per student. So if you have questions, it's going to be easier for you to ask them at community college, and then you don't have to worry about them when you get to university. That's what I did, except for my science, which I still need to take, but there was a printing class that counts for science at my university that I wanted to take because I thought it would be beneficial, because you do like photography and things like that. So I left that one for university, but like my math literally was the easiest math class ever, and I still just barely scraped by, and I took it at community college. So like definitely if you have a weak point, try to take it at community college. You're gonna get more instructor for your time, and also if you do fail it, it's going to be cheaper to retake it because community college classes are cheaper. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and just remember to leave your comments and questions down below and I'll answer them in a future video. And yeah, I think that's it. I will talk to you in my next video. Bye!